This is Finch, and today we are going to be studying one of my favorite topics, dinosaurs and fossils. So, specifically, we are going to be talking about three time periods that dinosaurs lived. We are going to talk about what dinosaurs are. We are also going to talk about how paleontologists, those are scientists that study dinosaurs, found out about dinosaurs and learned all this information about them. Then we are going to go on a dinosaur safari hunt. We are going to go track some dinosaurs in my backyard. Don't worry, they're not real. The last thing we are going to do, if you choose to, you are going to make your own fossil. First thing we need to talk about is, when did dinosaurs live? So let's first talk about that. We're going to talk about specifically three time periods that they lived. So here's our dinosaur timeline. The Triassic was 250 to 200 million years ago, Jurassic 200 to 145 million years ago, and the Cretaceous 145 to 65 million years ago. What are dinosaurs? Well, dinosaurs are a type of animal that were similar to lizards, modern day lizards, and birds. We go on our safari hunt, you're going to be able to see some of these dinosaurs, and I want you to pay close attention to their face, their feet, and look at them and see what kind of animal, modern day animal, that they resemble to you. The other thing I want you to do on the safari hunt, I'm going to give a letter before each dinosaur, and if you can, please email me. You'll get that email at the end of this. Tell me the name of that dinosaur and a fun fact. Now, during the lesson, I will be talking to you about that dinosaur, and we're going to learn about whether it is an herbivore, carnivore, or an omnivore. Well, those are big words again, Mrs. Finch. Please tell me what they are. Okay, so the first one. An omnivore is like us. We eat both meat and plants. Well, that's what a dinosaur that is an omnivore are. They are animals that eat both meat and plants. Now, an herbivore is a dinosaur that eats just plants. And then we have our carnivore. Our carnivore just eats meat. Okay, so we're going to learn about these kinds of animals, dinosaurs, and what their diet was like, what time period they lived in. And then when we're done with that, we are going to make our own fossil. So first we have to find out, how do you make a fossil? How did fossils come to be? So, well, it took millions of years first off, but I'm going to show you an example of the layers of earth on our planet. So the first layer is sand. Then we have here, which is this darker layer, is called loam. And that has more of like plant matter, dead animals, that kind of stuff, where it's breaking down. The next layer is clay. So you know that living here in Oklahoma, it's a little thicker, it's hard. And then the last layer, that is called bedrock. Well, that is where the dinosaurs are. Well, how did the dinosaurs get from here to where the paleontologists can find them? Well, the paleontologists can exactly dig all the way down this. Well, what happens over millions of years through weather and through Earth's movement. So when we have earthquakes or there are volcanoes, for example, well, what happens when there is Earth movement, this bedrock over time, millions of years ago, gets pushed to the surface. And now, during our time period, paleontologists can go hunt those down and dig them up and learn a lot about the time period they lived in and learn a lot about that dinosaur. Okay, so they learn a lot about the dinosaurs by looking at their teeth to find out whether they're an herbivore. Now, herbivores tend to have very flat teeth. Carnivores have very sharp teeth. So think of it like your dog or your cat. They have very sharp teeth. That's so that they can get through the meat easier. Now, omnivores have a little bit of both. So they'll have front teeth that are sharp, like canines that we have, and then they have their back teeth that they can grind. So those are the kinds of things that paleontologists look at to find out what kind of animal this was. Was this an herbivore, omnivore, or a carnivore? They also look at size. That has a lot to do with whether or not this animal was a hunter or an herbivore. So animals like this guy, this dinosaur. This dinosaur was very, very big. So this one, think of it like an elephant. Okay. Well, elephants just eat plant. It's a very big animal. So a very big animal that weighs a lot could not run and hunt very well. So this is how they find out if it was an herbivore. This happens to be an herbivore. Then you have dinosaurs like this. Just look at their teeth. Look at how sharp they are. Wow. I would not want to mess with this dinosaur. I think this one is a carnivore. It looks like it's fast. It looks like it's running. Okay. So fossils. Well, I have an example of the kind of fossil we're going to make and what they kind of look like when they come to the surface for paleontologists to dig. This one I bought through National Geographic. They actually make these, so if you'd like one, just ask your adult. Maybe they can. If not, I'm going to show you how to make one, which is even better. Okay, so here's one. I did this with my class last year, and it's a piece of stone, and they use little tools, chisels, to dig these out. And what they found are fossils like this. This is called an ammonite. It's this creature that kind of looked like a, I would say probably looked more like a modern day shrimp, and it would live at the bottom of the ocean. Then we have shell. I have a little tooth. Don't know which dinosaur that came from. And here's one of it. This is a calcified shell. That means it's covered in calcium, so it's like bone. Hi, so we are in my backyard and we are going to start hunting for dinosaurs. So pay attention to the letter I say before, and then you can email me the name of that dinosaur. I'm going to give you a fun fact about each of them. Here we go. So this dinosaur was one of the largest of the pterosaurs. It's a kind of short-tailed dinosaur. They're the largest flying reptile ever known, and it weighed about 220 pounds. So here is one of our omnivores. This was a huge meat eater. It ate mainly fish, and it grabbed animals right on the riverbank. So it had a huge cell of skin on its back. It was brightly colored. This was so that it can impress its mate. This one lived in the early Cretaceous. This is letter B. Name this dinosaur. This is dinosaur C. It is also a carnivore. If you look at those teeth, it walked on 2 strong back legs, and it prowled the forest in North America, hunting and eating other big dinosaurs. This is dinosaur D. He was a carnivore. He would spit poison from his mouth to blind other dinosaurs. This dinosaur is dinosaur E. This was an herbivore, so it was a plant eater with a neck that shielded and with horns on its face. Very similar to the modern day rhinoceros. This is dinosaur F, and it is an herbivore. So we are back on my porch, and we are going to make our own fossil. So it's a very simple recipe. It is a salt dough recipe, and you will need a 1/2 cup of salt. Table salt is fine. That's this. 1 cup flour, and 1/3 to 1/2 cup of water. I say 1/3 to 1/2 cup because it really depends how dry the air is. And so I would just start with 1/3, and then if it gets crumbly, then add a little bit at a time, okay? So I have my flour. And my recipe called for a cup. So I am going to get it to about a cup, need a little more. So right there, we're about at a cup. I'm going to pour that in. You can double this recipe if you want to make a really big fossil. If you have something really big that you want to put together. Then I'm going to put my half a cup of salt. So there's my half a cup mark. Okay, so we're at a half a cup. Pour that salt in. And now we have our water. So we have way down here on our measuring cup. I'm a little over, so I'm just going to be very careful about how much I put in there. I'm going to save a little bit right at the end. And then just with your hand, this is the fun part. You are going to mix it up. You're going to like kind of pinch it like that together. I need a little more of this. And it still needs some more water. With all this wind, it is kind of dry out. So, see, it's still crumbly. I need it to be a little more doughy. So I'm going to put a little more in. That's much better. So see how it's more like a dough. Now, I still think mine needs a little more water, so I am going to put a little more in. Okay, so I have here just a clear tote so you can see it better. And I'm going to make it into a ball like this, and then I'm going to flatten it out. I don't want it too thin because I want it to look like a fossil. I also want to try not to leave my fingerprints in there because this is for dinosaurs. All right. Okay. So what I am going to do is I'm first going to start with my plant eater, and I'm going to use its feet. I'm going to put those up here, just the back ones. Then I'm going to put my big dinosaur feet right behind it, like it's tracking it. And then this little guy, I think I'll put them crossing their path. And this one has a little claw at the back of its feet, so I want to make sure I get that impression too. So, look at that. So, there is my dinosaur fossil. Tomorrow it will be hard. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and when it's dry and hard, you can go ahead and maybe paint it with a little light brown so it looks like it's an aged rock. That would be really neat. I'd love to see your own fossils, so email me at finchm@tecumseh.k12.ok.us. And remember, if you are going to do our dinosaur safari hunt, make sure that you write which dinosaur you're naming by writing dinosaur A and then the name right after it. Don't worry about spelling. I probably can make it out. So until next time, I hope you enjoyed our dinosaur unit. I know I did. It was fun going on safari with you. I hope to see you next time. Bye, guys.